Shrugging off pressure at home and abroad, Israel's government reportedly insisting on the release of all remaining hostages in Gaza. Still, it is reviewing a proposal by Hamas to release half its captives in Gaza in exchange for a 60-day truce. Our coverage begins with correspondent Noga Tarnopolsky. Noga, what's the latest?
Latest is that this entire matter appears to be in limbo, and Prime Minister Netanyahu appears to be doing one of his favorite things, which is juggling all of the possibilities in the air and taking his time before responding, while the rest of Israel obviously is holding its breath for a response. So the options are an Israeli rejection of this plan, an Israeli acceptance of this plan, which might possibly risk Netanyahu's hold on power, or a third avenue, which is Israel demanding amendments or changes made. Now, we haven't seen this plan yet. None of us have. And apparently the Israeli ministers haven't yet seen it. But from everything we know out of Cairo in particular, it is indistinguishable from the plan that Israel had in its hands and walked away from back in March 2nd, including a 60-day truce, as you said, the release of 10 out of more or less 20 living hostages and 18 bodies of dead hostages in exchange for around 200 Palestinian prisoners sentenced to life sentences or sentences longer than 15 years. That's what we know for now, and everybody's waiting on tenterhooks to see how Israel might respond.
At the same time, there's still those plans to go further into Gaza, and there's been protests again this Tuesday.
That's right. I should have added, those are among the other balls that are in the air as Netanyahu contemplates how to respond. Israel sent a few tanks into the Sabra neighborhood in Gaza City yesterday. There were some concerns, in particular in Gaza, that this might be the beginning of Israel's announced operation to occupy the entirety of Gaza City, but it wasn't. It appears to have been more part of a psychological war than an actual expansion of the current war. And Netanyahu is also juggling mass protests, not just the huge protest Sunday that saw somewhere around 350 or 400,000 Israelis on the streets against his policies, demanding an end to the war and demanding a return of the hostages. But he's now facing also ongoing protests, smaller protests daily all over Israel from morning to night. And he's facing the mockery, which is a new thing, the mockery of the Israeli public in the face of his ministers and his own dismissal that the protest was nothing, that just a few people showed up, that it doesn't even matter. And so there's just this growing tumult in the Israeli airspace these days.